Okay, so we're going to continue on making the feathers, and I was thinking about this overnight and realized I could probably do it a different way. And the problem we were having is that when I hit play, if we view these curves, they'll have a little bit of a hump right here. And ultimately we're gonna use these to deform our feathers, and we don't want all our feathers to have a little hump in them, right? So I had this thought last night. We also want to be able to aim these feathers a certain direction. So let me we need to create another set of follicles on the bird here. Okay, and what we want to do with this is actually, instead of putting it on the bird, let's put it on a piece of geometry that represents a polygonal representation of the bone. Okay, so I'm going to create a little strip. Plane, my channel box. There's one subdivision on height, actually. Let's do one on height. And we can just do 10, because we just need a little strip down this direction. Okay, so we move this into its location. Height is 1, width, let's do that to 10 to start with. And we need to just, for now, we could just parent this to the elbow joint, or the wrist joint, sorry. So, let me find that wrist joint. Got a little bit of stuff going on in here now. That's the leg. Okay. So I'm parenting that, and we'll rename this to, let's see, wrist feathers aim _ geo. Okay. Then I'm going to zero out all this. Switch my translate tool to object. I'm going to slide this down into place. Now I've got a strip of geometry that's right where I need it to be. And I'm going to put some more follicles on this. And we're going to use them to create aims. Okay. So with that selected, we go to in hair. We'll create another hair system. This one's going to be less messy. We just need 10 this time. We check the UV space of this surface. There it is. You go to UV mode. I'm going to slide it up here in the center. Actually, let me do this. Okay, now I can't mess with my follicles. Okay, so we'll close that. And we'll switch to object mode and delete history on it. And now back in my create hair tool options. Points per hair, we don't really need that. We can just set it to static. And we don't want rest curves. Because we're not going to use any curves on this actually. We just want the follicles to be at a certain location so that we can point to them with our other feathers. Okay, so I'll click create. There they are, and we'll go to the hypergraph and we'll clean up a lot of this. And this, in old school days, they used to call this creating a rivet. And they actually, before hair existed in Maya, they had what they called a rivet script. And it was some guy that was a genius in Maya early on who wrote a script that literally everybody used. And it was called the rivet. So, but now we have an easier method, and they're follicles. So, here's what we do here. We can delete this nucleus. Oh, wait. No, we don't want to delete a nucleus. Sorry. It added it. So let me go back to my hair system. Let me undo this. Okay. And we'll go to create hair, our option box. And right now, we just need to add it to a new hair system. We'll click create. Okay, so now we got another set here, right? We have a nucleus. We don't really need we need this one nucleus for our original dynamic curves. Okay, but we don't need this hair system because we're actually not going to use it. We just want these follicles. Okay, we don't need all these curves here. We can delete those. Okay, and then if I stop showing shapes, things start to look a lot nicer. And we have this wrist feather aim geo follicle. Okay, and each of these follicles has a curve under it. We don't need those curves. Just want the follicles. Okay, so now if I were to grab this geometry, those follicles are going to stay on it, and that's the important part. Okay. Now we need to create some up vectors so that even if our bird flips upside down, we can tell it, well, let me think about this. Normally we'd use an up vector so that if the bird goes upside down, we could control it. Let's see. Curves don't really have rotation. Well, they do, but the individual components of a curve don't. And so that's my thought right now. Well, let's do it for good measure, okay? So we'll create a locator. We'll parent it to one of these follicles. And then we'll zero it out to get it to the follicle. And then we'll rename it to say okay there. I'm going to rename it to this name. So copy that. Cancel. Then we'll rename this one. Paste. Okay. So I need to create 9 more copies of this. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I need to parent these appropriately.